All right, guys, let's get started. Welcome to COIS ADMN 1620. This is the office hour that is for the end of module 3. So what I will label as module or office hours 3.2. Thanks for taking some time and joining. I'll just start with my customary remarks and sort of make some general comments, and then I will deal with anyone's specific questions that I can help with. So general comments, if you are watching this, this is an address to those of you that are live here. If you're watching this as a recording and you don't understand the two mandatory course requirements elements, the quiz and the academic integrity module, I'd suggest that you watch the office hours 1. I go over that in great detail there. If you can't see quizzes at this point, you are not complete in at least one of those two elements. So do your research, understand what the requirements are, watch the videos that we talked about these things at great length. I'm happy to answer questions to anyone that is live here. I will certainly deal with anything, no matter how many times it's been asked or answered. But for those of you that are watching this as a recording, if it's the first recording you're watching, I would suggest you go back to office hours 1 and watch that. This is the end of module 3, which means we're effectively halfway through the course at this point. We're covering chapter 5, chapter 6, and tech guide 2. So there is a practice for each one of those 3 chapters. There is a quiz for each one of those chapters. And there is a discussion that's also due tomorrow, Friday, at 11:59:00 according to Blackboard time. Some of the questions I often get are the tech guides optional? They are not optional. They are worth the same amount of marks as any other chapter. So I don't do lectures on them, but they are a relatively short read. Please do the practice and please do the quiz for those as well, or else you're missing out on some marks. The discussion, we provided feedback by last Friday, somewhere on last Friday, all the feedback was in for discussion 1. Please do take a look at that feedback before you submit for discussion 2, in case there's something that you're missing, you're not getting, that you can improve on, that you can improve your mark on. We will do the same thing when we mark discussion 2. I guess we have reading week coming up next week. So we will have those marked at some point before you're back at class. I'll aim for the Friday. If it drags on until a little bit into module 4, I'm not too worried about that, as long as we get it back to you in time that you can read the comments and apply them to discussion 3. So discussions 1 and discussions 2 will have lots of feedback. We'll go in very great detail as to where we think you can improve and what we're looking for that you're not providing. Once we get to marking discussion 3 and marking discussion 4, there's not going to be many comments. And that's just based on the experience that we've had, knowing that if a student isn't reading the comments that we made in discussion 1 and 2, they're not going to read 3 and 4, so we won't waste our time doing that. Hopefully, the majority of people that are reading those that feedback are getting very, very close to perfect once we get into discussion 3 and 4. So there's no reason not to get perfect. As far as the discussion goes, there are 2 questions within each discussion. There are specifically 2 questions. We're looking for 2 unique answers in your own words with 3 cited references. That's important. The cited part is important. There has to be an in-text citation along with the reference list at the end. So having one or the other doesn't do us any good. We need both. And hopefully you understand those concepts. They were part of the mandatory quiz. So at some point you did need to know what APA citing was and what APA referencing looked like. So please apply those. And the requirements are exactly the same for each answer. It's not a cumulative 400 or 500 words. It is 400 or 500 words each answer. So your discussion will be 800 to 1,000 words broken into 2 separate answers with 2 discussion lists, etc. in there. Okay. Again, hopefully everyone understands those requirements. If not, go back and look at the office hours just before the first discussion, because I went in great detail, walked through all the requirements there. I don't think there's anything. Oh, I guess there's a heads up. The exam schedule is going to come out in another week or so. I would guess during your reading week, the exam schedule will be released. So please take a look at that. We do not make accommodations as a school. This isn't just me. As a school, we do not make accommodations for your travel or anything else in terms of the exam schedule. You're expected to keep the exam period free so that you're available to write exams. Shortly after that schedule becomes available, you're going to have 3 options. And I'll talk about this in every office hour for a while. You'll have 3 options. You'll be able to write in Peterborough, you'll be able to write in Durham, or you'll be able to write online. So you will have an option to write online if you, for instance, are fortunate enough that your parents are going to take you away on a holiday. That's great, but the day of the exam, you would have to have a good internet connection, webcam, and a microphone so that you could write online, because it is a proctored, in all cases, whether it's in person or online, it's a proctored exam. Okay. So there is some flexibility there if you want to write online. My strong suggestion to anyone that that is able to attend the exam at Peterborough or Durham conveniently, and I recognize lots of students don't even live in Canada, much less near Peterborough or Durham. But if you can, I would suggest writing it in person. And I say that because then you don't have to worry about your internet connection, your laptop, or anything else, none of which are good enough excuses. For instance, if your internet went out when you were writing the online exam, that's unfortunate, but you're expected to have a solution for that. The school won't accommodate you. Okay. Any questions, comments, concerns, anything that I can address here for anyone that has taken the time to join me here? We're really business as usual. Once we, once we've done module 2, module 3 is very similar. Module 4 is going to be similar again. So we'll get right back into it once you get back from reading week. Get into module 4. Bear with me. I'll see if I made module 4 available during reading week or not. I'm not sure what decision I made there. Course content. Module 4 will be available starting Saturday. So you would have all of reading week to work on that, to do the practices, do the quizzes and stuff like that. You don't have to. There's no obligation to. You still have 2 weeks after reading week for the whole module, but it will be available to you if that helps you in any way with your, with scheduling your life or whatever. Okay. Does anyone have any questions, any public questions? You can either jump on audio video if you want. You can hit me up in the chat. You can send me a private message, in which case I won't say who it is I'm responding to. The other option is to stick around at the end, and I will put anyone that's remaining in private rooms, and we can have a one-on-one, perfectly private conversation. If you don't have questions, thanks for carving out some time to attend. Enjoy your reading week. Make it a productive one would be my advice to any student. Use it to make the second half of your term go easier. You'll likely have term assignments due. I'm not talking my course specifically. Term assignments due, competing exams, all sorts of quizzes and things like that. The second half tends to be loaded more than the first half. So when you've got that chance to do some reading to get a little jump on your courses, I'd recommend you do that. So in any case, that's just advice. Do as you wish, but go ahead and have a good evening. If you don't have any questions for me, I'll hang around here in case I can have private discussions with anyone. So thank you very much.